How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pate. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Hello, Finny. You're dead. Dead is just a word.
On October 17th,
It's the grabber.
She came to me in my dream.
see the movie that audiences are losing sleep over.
What do you think happens when you die in a dream? It's time to find out.
Ethan Hawke,
I'm not afraid of you. You should be.
Black Phone 2, only in theaters October 17th. Rated R.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
I thought I saw something.
I lose you guys again. What?
Someone.
What's going on? What are you guys looking at? Abaddon eyes. That's what we call it. Everybody feels like they saw something out of the corner of their eyes or just felt like they were being watched. Happens to all of us. Just our imagination's messing with us.
Abaddon eyes.
You coming?
Joe, thank you so much for joining us. Mike, Casey, Joe. Joe, we talked when the last movie came out, Origins, and I again have to tell you that the penultimate movie, basically, where we're sitting now, Origins is my favorite. I mean, the Carmichael Manor stuff is so good, so well done. It's found footage, but it doesn't feel like it, kind of, you know?
Yeah, you always have to remind me it's found footage. It's
Yeah.
And Mike goes, oh, the cameras are so much better now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, we're here for Hell House Lineage, right?
Yep.
Tell me your part in that, and give me an idea of kind of how it came about and that sort of thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you both for having me again. It's good to chat with you both. One of the things we're talking about when we talk about these 5 movies being the Hell House franchise, one of the things that I'm the most proud of is I'm the sole producer of the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Stephen Cognetti is the writer, director, creator. He's the only creator, only writer, director of all Hell House movies, and I'm the only producer. So obviously we've worked with a ton of people. We've had a lot of relationships and a lot of partnerships, but I'm very prideful of the fact that I'm the only producer of the franchise. So I wear that kind of as a badge of honor with it.
Yeah.
So naturally, once Steve had an idea, he brought it to me. We talked through it, and then Lineage came about, and then also, as the series has gone on, I've played the clown and clowns. So I reprised the role as the 2, if not 3 clowns in this most recent movie as well.
Mm-hmm. So without spoiling everything in the movie, when we get to the point where the clown is physically sitting in the hall, who's that?
It's me.
That's you. Okay. You looked very different. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
I know. It's weird. It's funny, that mask, so that's the Freddie Perkins mask.
Yeah.
That mask specifically, like I've been wearing the Hell House clown mask for years now, but that Freddie Perkins mask feels like my face.
It is very tight fitting because I was like, I didn't think it was a mask.
Yeah, we had a take where they walk through the hallway and they flash the light on me and my eyes move or my eyes open.
Yeah.
Steve wanted to go a little more subtle on that, but it just felt very much like it was me as opposed to like a character. So that was kind of
That is
weird.
a damn fine mask. I can tell you that. That is because that convinced me. I thought it was just another guy sitting there.
We might also be able to ask him if he did get her.
If he did get
Sierra.
well, so we talked to Sierra.
Okay, love Sierra. She's good.
Yeah, and we basically, anybody that we talked to Michael, we talked to Sierra, and then we talked to Bridget today also. And number one, let me say this again because you're sitting here, but everybody involved in this has been so lovely and easy to get scheduled, and they're all willing to talk about it, even if they had a very small part or whatever. It doesn't matter. They are very good evangelists. Thank you. All I could think of was evangelical.
Well, I think
but they're very good evangelists for the Hell House
everybody's
franchise.
really patient with us because we ask some very off the wall questions.
We do ask some weird questions.
We're fans.
You guys ask good questions. You guys ask good questions.
Well, thank you.
A lot of the times it's a lot of the same questions. So you guys ask some key questions, which is good. But listen, I agree with you. The people we work with are incredible. I think, obviously we'll get into it with Lineage, but Lineage has mixed reviews in terms of compared to some of the other films. I think when I look back on the entire franchise, the first thing that I think about is the amount of amazing people that we've worked with throughout the entire thing, from movie 1 to movie 5. So you're not wrong. Every person has been such an incredible person in terms of bringing a lot to the table from a crew perspective, from a cast perspective, creatively, but also just being really cool people and really nice people. So
they all are. They've been fantastic to deal with. But the reason we bring up Sierra is we asked her if this franchise were to go forward, right? If all the brand new questions that got brought up, if they are to be answered by somebody else, would she want to keep going? And in my argument for that is we never see her die.
She very quickly said, "You did not see me die on camera."
That's right.
And she also said, "I've thought about this." She said, "You don't know what I had in that box."
That's right.
I could have a token of safety.
Doesn't that sound like the classic actor line of being like, "No, they should bring me back. I should be."
Well, it's kind of the classic fan line too, because we would love to see her come back and get out of hell, and that sort of thing.
Well, and it was.
I mean, you guys have seen these movies. Like, no one's really ever dead.
That's
right?
exactly right. That's exactly right. That's even this morning with the blown up face. We talked about how she could do sort of a prequel about their ghost hunting adventures before they get there.
She wanted a net sleuth prequel. Yeah.
I said that's probably a 3-picture deal.
You see, and that's a testament to you and Stephen and these folks. No matter what, they want to be a part of it and they want to continue on with it, and that's what I think is exciting, just to see people excited about a project like that.
I'm going to ask you one of those weird off-the-wall questions, okay? I was told earlier today that this movie was made for about $175,000.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's around there.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to the end, it's kind of like, oh, this costs an extra $5, or this costs this. But yeah, the original budget that we went into was roughly somewhere between 165 and 185.
That's crazy low, isn't it?
Very low. Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest budget we've had of all of the Hell House movies that. Yeah, but that obviously the other ones have all been found footage. So all of it, like, we had a bigger crew for this.
Yeah.
We had a longer shoot. But even when we talk in terms of like traditional narratives, like we did a 14-day shoot. Most traditional narratives are, even on like the super low budget, are like 22 days, 25 days.
Sure.
So we did everything like really small, and we had a lot of locations too. We had a lot of crew. But that's a testament to the people we work with, because you got a lot of badasses out there that really kind of bring their A game.
And I'll ask Stephen about this.
Probably got a lot of actors carrying stuff too, is what I'm thinking.
Load your own
load
gear.
in, load out. Yeah.
Is that?
We try not to ask them to do that. We try to keep it separate. We have nice casts, but we try to keep it separate.
I understand.
Is that kind of? And Mike and I talked a little bit about this, before amongst ourselves. Is that something that kind of is the part where it's just? I think I'd heard Stephen on another podcast say it's just not sustainable
to continue to make these movies.
Yes, because your vision grows and your budget doesn't grow.
I mean, and that's kind of, and I'll jump into it too. But that's part of the reason why we shifted from found footage to narrative. I think, my job in these movies has always been, because Steve hired me originally, so it's not your classic, I'm the producer who comes in and tells the filmmaker what to do, and if he doesn't do it, he's fired. Like, it doesn't work like that. Steve and I have always been a partnership, but at the end of the day, we've had creative differences, and when we have creative differences, if he truly believes in something and wants to do something, even if I don't believe it, I support his vision, because he's the creator. I want to back him. I want to clear whatever I can out of the way for him. But realistically, the model of how we've made these movies has been so hard. And typically it's rare that you see a franchise for a low budget film like this. Like usually by
Absolutely.
like the second or third movie, those filmmakers are moving on and doing other things. And Steve and I have been moving on and doing other things, but we keep coming back to the fan base. And I think that's the reason why he wanted to make this movie, was he wanted something more for the fans, and he wanted something that paid kind of tribute to the fans. Obviously, us getting a theatrical and us going bigger, that's where it opens up some of the questions, because you're making a fan movie for a general audience, might confuse some of those people. But at the end of the day, I think for Steve, he needed to have his heart in it to tell another Hell House story, and for him, he wanted to challenge himself, and that was the switching of the format. And like I said, I've always done nothing but support him and make sure that whatever he needs to get his vision across, I'm going to support.
I will say that there are three things in this movie that really stand out to me. One is the nod to found footage through the guy's phone. I was like, oh, well, there it is. It's still there, And so there was a little bit of found footage there, and I don't know if that was done purposely or not. But
yeah, that definitely was. If you've seen 825 Forest Road, which is Steve's first narrative film, there's a whole sequence there with Elizabeth, who plays Vanessa.
Right.
She's in that movie as well, and there's a whole found footage sequence too. But yeah, I think that's I always encourage Steve to put a little bit, because that's kind of what he made his name off of.
Absolutely. The second one, which is kind of down the found footage road, is that laptop scene where they're just so jovial about the fact that they're both going to die in the house, and it's like, I love that scene. I thought that was fantastic. That's really well done. And then what was my last thing?
Probably Donald.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a turn there at the end with Donald.
Michael Donald.
Yeah, all of a sudden Donald is a main character.
Yeah. I think fans were assuming that from the fourth one on. So
he was
talk about giving the fans what they want.
He was such a nice guy, and then he turns into such a badass. Yeah.
Well, he was talking about how these things, and this is why we love to talk to the actors and everybody, is he was giving us all these, and I threw this in, and I did this, and then he said the fans picked up on it, and I was like, to me, that character, the biggest thing is when we go back to, we talked to Bridget this morning, and I said, it changes the whole way that he worked to get you into Carmichael Manor for 5 days. Mm-hmm. And then right before he left, he said, oh, if you're interested in the Abaddon, they've got some pieces there. You may want to go check those out. And that changed that whole character.
Well, and then he also pulled the priest in.
Yeah.
Right?
That was my favorite line.
He's like, there's one more on the fire here.
When they're standing outside Carmichael Manor in Lineage, and then he looks and he goes, oh, will the priest be joining us?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you
give me one more.
Like he just needs one more body. Yeah, one more body. I don't know what the count is to get into the lake of fire, but it was one more.
Massive. But he needed more. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what could possibly happen. Mm-hmm. Stephen has been very clear that this is his last Hell House. I'm assuming that kind of means it's your last one. Is that correct? Okay. But we have not we've not said that somebody else couldn't pick up the mantle and run with it.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when we started this, so when Steve first sent me the script, my initial thought was, oh, this is part one. We're doing part two as well, right? And he was like, no.
That's
and
what
I
we
said,
thought.
And I said, wait a second. And so I had the natural response that I think a lot of the audience had, which is, we can't end this movie on a cliffhanger. This is our last movie. We can't do that. Yeah. And I think, Steve will probably clarify this for you when you speak with him as well. Sure. I think when he said final movie, he didn't mean we're wrapping up everything. We're putting it all, a nice little bow tie on it and sending it off. Yeah. I think we're both open to what it could be in the future. I think this is just the end of how we would be making these movies this way. Absolutely. Like, granted, I know in 2019, Steve and I were talking about potentially making the Abaddon tapes. And that was going to be a prequel series that we were going to do that was going to be split found footage and narrative. It was going to be 6 episodes, and we were going to start, it was going to be based on the cult. Right. And it was going to start in the 70s and literally take you all the way up until present day. But in order to do a period piece, in order to go do the Rockland County Fair, in order to do all of those things and really play in those time zones, it costs money.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be able to do it for 50, for 175. There's no way we would have been able to. So that what we were looking for to make it was significantly higher, and we just couldn't get the money to do it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
so that whole thing went away. But yeah, I mean, Steve has laid so many breadcrumbs throughout this franchise. There's so many different things that you can pull on to go in different directions. And I'm not saying money is the thing, but I just know for sure, like if someone came around and was like, hey, we're interested in doing the cult and we have money, would you guys be interested in coming back? Like that's a conversation I'm sure we'd be willing.
Okay.
It's just more this model of how we've been doing it. It's been, and it's not like I know Damien Leone has the same thing with Terrifier, but it's very rare that you have a filmmaker making movies with no oversight whatsoever and they have final cut, especially at the level that we're at. So that's how we've been making these things. I think if we did, it would either be licensing it out to someone else. Potentially, I know Steve mentioned writing a book or doing something in a completely different format.
Like a graphic novel.
Yeah, something like that. Or if it was us coming back, it would be in very different circumstances. I don't think it would be. I'm sure there would be a lot more producers involved. I'm sure there'd be a lot more executive producers involved. There would have to be more money involved. Yeah. But I think, again, that being said, like I don't want to, disappoint the fans because this franchise exists because of the fans. But think about it. We've been making these movies for 10 years.
I know.
Both of us love what this franchise is and love what it's been to our fans and what it's meant to us. Yeah. But we both have so much more stories to tell in both. Like we're both writers, we're both directors, we're both producers. We both want to make new things and we both love original content. And I think currently, like we've just been doing sequel after sequel after sequel after sequel. And like, not to say that it's burning out, but like we kind of want to challenge ourselves in different ways and move on to other things. And I think we're hoping that the fan base follows us and continues to grow with us. But it's like I said, this was more of a we gotta put a bow tie on the way it is now.
So when that title card came up at the end with the cliffhanger, we both looked at each other and we were like, "Fucking cognitti," like right. So we were and it's we drove an hour to go see it, right? We sat in a theater with 25 people, something like that, right? So everybody was super passionate. Guy next to me is wearing a Hell House shirt, which I didn't even know you could buy. And then, we're watching this thing, and it's a beautiful movie, by the way. It's really done well. But when that came up, I mean, I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you we were pissed, right?
Yeah.
But
I get you.
But you guys have done a masterful job of coming behind and explaining what all is going on here. And with the healing power of time, we have thought about it and talked about it. And honestly, it's pretty damn ballsy to do what you did and to lay out all these brand new trails that someone could go down. That is something I've never seen before. Never seen it.
I mean, listen, that's when we did Origins.
Yeah.
Thought process behind calling it Origins was we can continue to do Origins and pull it a different thread. And then it was like, let's not do that anymore. Let's finish it up. Let's do Lineage and all that kind of stuff. Let's pick characters that we knew we wanted to come back to. Let's kind of go in that direction. So yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to compare Hell House to Lost, but I don't think I've ever seen a show that has done more with like breadcrumbs on what can be pulled aside from Lost.
Yeah.
So I know that's a big thing in Steve's mind of always constantly making people connections and all that stuff. And I know in this movie, like obviously Vanessa talks about, her mom died in a car crash. She's referencing the Russell Wynn car crash. Like there's things to tie together and so on and so forth. And there's so many other stories. Like we could pick any character in this and follow through. And obviously with the big cliffhanger at the end, I won't spoil it for people, but like, where has that character been? Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
There's a lot to tell there. But yeah, I mean, we could go in many different directions, but I think from a creative standpoint, just continuing to make the same things that tie to the same things, like it becomes it's challenging still. It's a different challenging, but it's not as fulfilling, I think, as you continue to move on. Like I think when all's said and done, Steve and I love being the Hell House guys, and I think he loves being the Hell House creator. I love being the Hell House producer. But yeah, I wouldn't want to go the next 40 years of my life and only do Hell House movies.
Sure. Yeah, it's just like being a big rock band or something, right? I mean, I'm sure AC/DC got tired of Thunderstruck after a while, you know. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a little bit harder question here, and this one, tongue planted in cheek, right? But how big was that friggin' truck that the drunk truck full of people?
Was it a school bus?
Because there's a lot of people in that truck all of a sudden.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about a pickup truck?
Yeah. It was like everybody in their dog was linked.
5 people.
So there were 5 people in the truck. Okay.
It's actually, you know what? When you guys see the uncut version, it was actually 37 people.
Okay. It was a clown car. It was a clown car.
They just kept coming out. Town folks just kept coming out.
Keep coming. Yeah.
They had the 6-foot bed in the back. So
sure.
Well,
okay.
I have, since we're talking about you and Steve, and I have a question, kind of a serious question, because I just started thinking about this. Over the time that y'all have worked together, has it always been you two over these last, I think you said 10 years, working on Hell House? Or have you had a time to split apart and you work on a separate movie and he work on a separate movie?
Yeah. So, we did also make a 25 Forest Road, which he had produced, and we had other producers who brought financing on for that one as well. Yeah. So we did that. Those are all the things I've worked on with Steve. I've also made a few other movies. I've made a movie. It came out last year. It's called Another Cabin in the Woods movie. It's right behind me.
Oh, nice.
It's a spoof movie on Cabin in the Woods. Came out, I think, 2024 or at the beginning of this year. I don't remember. But that I wrote and directed. And then a few years ago, I directed a documentary called The Unknown Dimension, the story of paranormal activity. And it's a tell-all about how they made the paranormal activity films.
Oh.
So that's on Paramount Plus. I think Another Cabin in the Woods movie's on Prime and on Tubi. So we've definitely had our time to separate. But Steve also has 2 kids, and Steve has raised a family. Sure. And I didn't have kids in that time. And I'm realizing currently that, holy shit, I told him when my wife got pregnant, the first thing I said to him was, "Man, I don't know how you did this." Like, yeah. But that being said, like, I'm about to do the same. So
you'll figure out a way. It's overwhelming, but in the best way.
Yeah.
So
we're in the process of moving right now too. Yeah. So it's moving with the baby and all.
Yeah, you just hate yourself. Is what it is. Yeah.
I'm feeling great right now.
Well, thank you for taking the time, though.
Of course.
So what are you working on now? Is there anything that you are personally working on?
Yeah, so I'm working on 2 movies. I'm working on one movie, both of them. So Steve and I both said we were going to, after Lineage, go our separate ways and kind of try ourselves at different things. So he's working on a project. He can tell you about that. Sure. I'm working on a project called The Hunted, that I am in the process of casting, that I'm hoping to shoot. I was going to try to shoot it this fall, but as anyone who just had a baby knows, that shit's not happening. So I'm probably going to shoot that in hopefully early spring of next year. And then I just wrote a movie. It's not like the Another Cabin in the Woods movie kind of fell into that another movie kind of title thing. The working title is Another Masked Killer movie, but it's basically a spoof of Masked Killer whodunits. So, and that one I think either this winter or a little before, a little after that other one. So I'm probably going to direct both of them next year.
And we're talking comedy here, right?
So the Hunted is a straight horror film.
Right. But I mean the another.
And then this falls more in line of like, I always say this. It's a spoof, but it's not like Scary Movie where you're going and you're watching scenes from other people's movies that we're just making funny. Mm-hmm. It's original content. It's an original storyline, but we're troping the genre. Okay.
How hard is comedy?
Man, you know what? I guess that's for people to say and not me. For me, I don't find it challenging. Like really? For me, I felt like the reason I got into horror because horror and comedy kind of blended together for me, and they've always kind of blended. Even in like hardcore horror, like there's always humorous moments for me. And that's kind of what my roots into horror were through comedy. So to me, I've never found comedy difficult, but that's also because like I always have a smile on my face. I'm always cracking jokes. Like I'm the person, like I went to my best friend's grandmother's funeral when I was like 22 and I was laughing while staring at her in the casket because I thought of a funny scene of what would happen if she was really alive, and like not realizing that everyone's watching me laugh.
Yeah.
So I'm that like awkward person that does the things that you shouldn't be doing.
Sure.
So like I always tell Steve, I'm gonna make a movie, or I guess maybe I haven't told him this. I've told a lot of the crew this. I'm gonna make a movie called Hell House INC. And
Oh,
it's
I
just
like that.
it's basically just going to be all of the scenes that we did in Hell House just funny. So, but yeah, I
We'll
mean,
go back to the Rose scenario and do it just as like an Office spoof.
Yeah, she wants to do an Office spoof of she wants a very horror comedy type movie.
well, the thing about comedy that's different than horror though is horror, like which as you guys have seen, like we've done the Hell House movies with pretty much unknown cast. Like you can't really do a found footage movie with a known cast. I think Creep is the only one that gets away with it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it needs to be unknown people because it buys into the whole like making the audience feel like it's real.
Yeah.
And so if, with comedy, the problem is you can have a really funny script, but if you don't have funny cast or you don't have people who can execute it properly, like with horror, you can write something really scary and like you can bring the pieces together and it's the same thing, but basically you can write something scary and it's scary whether it's Julia Roberts or Brad Pitt or unknown person one.
Yeah.
It's still scary. With comedy, you inherently get added humor by who's saying those lines and who's delivering them. So that's where our comedy becomes so much more difficult. And I think historically over the past, 30 years, the Naked Gun reboot just came out. And that's the first time we've really seen like a studio backed comedy film in probably 10 years.
Yeah.
But prior to that, like the last like 20 or 30 years, you can't make comedies unless you're paying like minimum 20, 30, 40 million dollars because you need Ed Helms in it, you need Zach Galifianakis in it, you need Bradley Cooper in it. I know I just said The Hangover, but you need people who have big names that have big price tags to do it. And that's where the complications come in, I think.
Right. This is not on the scale that you guys do or anything, but I run a little media company here, and we started off as just a podcast company, just making podcasts and stuff. And I've told people over and over that, one of the biggest categories is comedy, and I would love to have funny shows. The problem is everybody thinks they're funny, but nobody's funny.
Right.
And so, and I don't mean that as an insult necessarily, but what's funny to you and your buddy is not necessarily funny to a wider audience.
I mean, I'll give you a perfect example of it. So another Cabin in the Woods movie was actually made 9 years ago, and it was called Seclusion, and it was a horror comedy, and it was one of the first movies I ever directed. And I, being a very young green filmmaker, I signed a deal where I signed away Final Cut, and I signed it away to a sales agent who recut the movie to what they thought was funny. And I was, publicly, I can't say anything. But at the time, I'm like, this isn't my movie. This is no longer what I wanted it to be. And the movie went out there. It did terribly. And it became a generic Cabin in the Woods movie. It was meant to make fun of Cabin in the Woods movies, but it became a generic one. Mm-hmm. And then when Steve and I made 825 Forest Road, I just put it behind me. Like I moved on with my career. But the two other producers that we worked with initially were hesitant to working with me. And then I met with them, we talked, smoothed it over, and then we had a great experience. And when we were like wrapping and we kind of had like a dinner together and we were chatting, I asked them what was the hesitancy in originally, and they said they saw that movie. And I was like, oh man, I'm like, that movie, like the movie that wasn't even my vision that came out is representing me. And around the time was when the rights lapsed. And I was like, I'm going to re-release this movie. I'm going to re-release it the way I want it to be released. Yeah. And by the time I got done editing it, I was like, I'm not going to call this Seclusion anymore. I'm like, I'm going to poke fun at everything. So I'm just going to call it another Cabin in the Woods movie because it was meant to poke fun at Cabin in the Woods movie. It became a generic Cabin in the Woods movie. And this is how much I poked fun at it. I was trying to come up with a tagline, and I was getting into arguments with my sales agent over what was funny, because my tagline was, all they wanted was a house in the forest. And he was like, that's not funny. And I was like, it's hilarious. So subtle, but hilarious. And so we were going back and forth, and I was like, fine, I'm just going to make fun of myself in this. So the tagline for the movie is, from one of the guys who brought you Hell House LLC. No, not him, the other one.
That's great. Yeah, that's a really good line. Yeah. Now, you're like Eli Roth now, right? You're just remaking your own movie over and over and over.
I mean, I hope I don't have to keep doing that in my career.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm a better person.
That's true. Yeah. That's a bad movie, by the way. Okay, so. I think it's great that you guys are moving on and doing other projects. And I think you will find that the fans will follow you. But there's always going to be the creeps in the basement that are yelling about Hell House, And, I would have to say I would be sad if there was never another one. It's become kind of a ritual almost, right? Every once in a while we get a new one, we dive into it, we do all this stuff, we argue about it, we talk about it. It's become this thing. It's like our horror Super Bowl kind of thing, right? Maybe it's the Puppy Bowl, but still, it's the same thing, same concept. But are there guidelines, like if somebody wanted to pick this up and move it forward, or have y'all even thought about that yet?
I would defer that to Steve because I already have had opportunities and things come up that I thought were really cool.
Okay.
And I thought he absolutely loved them, and I brought them to him and he didn't want to do them. So
Yeah.
it's tough because it's his baby. And like,
Sure.
I get it. Like my thought process, like I'm thinking like a producer, I'm thinking, how can we continue to grow this fan base and grow this IP while not doing as much work and moving on to other projects? And I think he's of the mindset of like, if I'm going to go back to this, I'm going to be very, very creatively involved. And so that's where inherently lies the problem is if you're going to become inherently involved, then that's what you're doing and you're not doing anything else.
I get that. Sure. That's that catch-22 that comes up out of it. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, 5 movies, still the same person, like that's rare.
Sure. No, it's super rare. Yeah.
So I know he's going to be protective, and I get that.
I'm gonna say thank you for what you've done here with these 5 movies, because they have been a big part of what we talk about and what we do, and they've become part of our life. Casey is the kind of guy that just puts one of the movies on in the background and just lets it play, which I think is psychotic, but whatever. We've all got our things. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to you because we've got you here. But thank you to the Hell House crew all the way around, because again, it has become part of our life, and you have positively influenced us to think about these things and to go down these roads with you. And this ending and all of these new breadcrumbs, yes, it's frustrating, but I think we've talked more about this one and where it could possibly go than we ever did with any of the other ones.
Well,
So,
I think people will talk about it
amazing.
more once it gets out there, where they can either buy the DVD or watch it multiple times on Shudder, so you can dive into everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thank you both, because I've said this numerous times. I think I said this to you guys last time. We are the definition of a cult movie and the definition of a word of mouth movie. And the only reason why Steve and I have careers and the only reason why we have a fan base that we do is because people keep talking about this and people keep speaking words. And I think if we did have a movie that wrapped everything up and put it in a bow tie, no one talks about it anymore.
That's true. That's true. Good job. Good job.
Well, and we talked about that too. Was it? I guess it was it was the one where the Abaddon burnt down. So that was where the line was, "Evil never stops."
Yeah.
So even if you did wrap it up in front of the Carmichael Manor with Vanessa and Mitchell, there's somewhere else that is popping up again. That it's like a multi-headed hydra. You don't stop that kind of evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for your time. Thank you for talking to us twice, which is rare. But we do appreciate you, and we appreciate Stephen and all the actors and crew and folks that have been involved. Again, it's just been a very positive experience. Yeah.
And when he gets closer to putting stuff out, invite him to come back.
Yeah, if you have anything else, we would love to talk to you again. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely. I'll keep you guys in mind of I have another movie that I produced this year called Imposters that's going to be coming out probably early January. I'll let you guys know. That one's a fun one with Jessica Roth from Happy Death Day. So
that is wonderful. Happy Death Day. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good stuff. Yeah. Very. That's one that treads that line of horror and comedy really well.
And then they go into the second one, and it becomes more science fiction, and they kind of keep blending genres. But Chris Landon's really good at doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, and congratulations again. I hope the move stops soon.
Me too.
And go get some rest.
How many?
Thank you.
How many Halloweens is he going to have to dress his child up as the clown?
It's true.
So it's funny. One of the fans got my son a little onesie that has the Hell House clown on it.
Oh, very nice.
I know my lineage, which is adorable.
Oh, that's even better.
But his name is Blade, and so I think what I'm gonna do for the first at least maybe 12 years of his life is he's gonna be the character Blade every year for Halloween, and I'm gonna be a different variation of Dracula.
That's great. Yeah, that's lovely.
So make it for me instead of for him. So.
Very nice.
I never wanted to do this, Dad.
That's right. It's just therapy bills later. It's fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Exactly.
Well, thanks again, man. We really appreciate it. Have a lovely evening.
Of course. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You
All
too.
right, we'll
Bye.
see you. Bye-bye. You can find Abaddon Eyes exploring the Hell House LLC universe anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
I found the gateway, and it's glorious. Play us a song.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.